Alright, hi everyone. This is Shaunak. So this is going to be the zeroth video of this entire Sri Lanka trip I'll be recording over the next few days. Okay. The reason I'm saying this as day zero is because this formalities needs to be done before you actually come to Sri Lanka. Okay. If you miss out any of them, obviously you will be denied entry into Sri Lanka. So before you go any further, if you're planning the Sri Lanka trip, before you see my next videos, make sure you watch this one and plan your trip accordingly. So in this one, I will be walking you through the pre-boarding formalities that you have, including the air tickets, the visa, currency exchange, SIM cards, and hotel bookings and all those. Okay. So if you're planning to come to Sri Lanka as an Indian, the first thing that you need to do is to purchase the air tickets. Okay, and it's not just from India to Sri Lanka. You have to purchase the tickets from Sri Lanka back to India as well, which is mandatory. Okay, you have to book the tickets for both ways. Now, I was flying from Kolkata, so my flight was from Kolkata to Chennai and from Chennai to Colombo. And in my return flight, I have from Colombo to Chennai, Chennai to Kolkata. But you need to at least show at the immigration that you have a confirmed ticket from Colombo to Chennai. In my case, okay, they basically want to make sure that you do not have any plans to stay back in Sri Lanka. You have a ticket to come back to India. So before getting your visa or anything, you have to book a round-way trip. Okay. Now, if you're coming from any place else in India, I think that if you go via Chennai, it will be the cheapest flight because for me, my round-way fare via Kolkata, from Kolkata to Chennai and Colombo, it was showing me around 25,000. Okay, and if you're flying just from Chennai, it was around 12,000 rupees. So yeah, you have to plan your travels from Kolkata or Delhi or Mumbai or whatever to Chennai, and from Chennai we'll get cheap flight tickets. So for me, flight tickets from Chennai to Colombo round way cost me around 12 to 13,000 rupees. Okay. Then once you book the two-way ticket, the next thing that you need to plan is the hotels. Okay, you don't need confirmed hotel bookings. You just need a tentative hotel booking. Okay, so it's not like you have to pay the amount to the hotel upfront. You can do the pay at property thing as well, which I did. I booked via booking.com and I did not pay at any of the properties. I did not even enter my card details, anything. So they were still subject to availability, but at least the hotel bookings were there. So if required, I could have shown my immigration that hey, these are the hotels that I am planning to stay. Okay, so you can make the hotel bookings on the websites. Now, when you book via websites, always check the price in USD because ultimately your Indian rupees has no value in Sri Lanka. Okay, everywhere, every hotels deal either in Sri Lankan rupee or in USD. And since if you are a foreigner, they will quote you the price at the time of paying the bill. They will quote the price in USD, and then they will be using their own internal conversion rate from USD to Sri Lankan rupees. So if you have USD with you, pay via USD. You don't have to pay the currency conversion charges. Otherwise, you can pay in Sri Lankan currency as well, but they give more priority to USD than on Sri Lankan rupees, which is very strange, but maybe due to some reasons they do so. Okay, so that talk goes about the hotel bookings. Next is your visa. Okay, so once you have your flight and your hotel booking, then go for the visa. Now, as an Indian, getting the visa is very easy. Okay, so you have to go to the portal. I'll share the link of the portal over here, and you can also find the link in the description as well. So as an Indian, you get something called ETA, which is electronic travel authorization. Okay, so you need an ETA in order to enter Sri Lanka, without which you will be denied the immigration. So and the ETA process took me around 10 minutes to fill the form. There are around 3 or 4 forms that you have to pay, and the cost is $20 for an Indian, and including the taxes and conversion, it was coming around $21. For me, in Indian currency, it took me around 1700 rupees for the ETA. So you need to make sure that you have a card which has international transaction enabled. Okay, so make sure you have such a card, because only via that card you can pay the amount. There is no other way. So that is the ETA thing. And once you have applied for the ETA, it usually takes around half an hour, not more than that, if everything is filled correctly. For me, it took just 5 minutes for my ETA to come. Once you get your ETA over email, get a printout of that. Okay, you can still have your tickets and everything on your mobile, but ETA needs to be printed out. Okay, in very rare cases, maybe they might allow you as an exception, but just to be on the safe side, I would suggest take a printout of your ETA. It may be in black and white format, that's all right. Colored is better, but have it in a hard copy format. Okay, so that's about your ETA. And of course, the first and foremost thing is to have a passport. Your passport should be valid, and your passport should have at least 6 months duration of before it expires. So for example, if you're traveling in January, so your passport should not expire before July. Okay, so that is another thing that you need to keep in mind. Now with the ETA, suppose you get the ETA in the month of, I got my ETA in the month of May. Okay, applied on 21st of May, and my ETA was valid till 17th of November. So approximately the ETA is valid for 6 months, but it gives you only one time entry. Okay, and since the day of entry, you are permitted to stay for 30 days. So I got my ETA on 21st of May, and I was allowed, my ETA would expire on 17th of November. Okay, almost 6 months. But in between this time, I had to go to Sri Lanka. So I came on 17th of June. Okay, and from 17th of June, I have around 30 days of stay. I can extend it, but I would have to pay additional fee for that. But by default, you are allowed to stay for 30 days. So from 17th of June, I would be allowed to stay till 16th of July. Before 16th of July, I have to have my return flight. So you need to plan all these things accordingly. It might sound a little complicated, but trust me, if you follow it step by step, it's very simple. It's super smooth. Okay, so this was my first international travel that I was doing solo. Okay, and trust me, I did not face any hiccup, any difficulty at any stage of the process. It was super smooth. Just follow the steps and you can do it easily. So that was all about the passport, the tickets, the hotel bookings, and the ETA. All this is enough for you to board the aircraft from India to Sri Lanka. Now once you land in Sri Lanka, you have to go through the immigration. There will be one immigration in India itself, okay, at the port of your departure. You might be asked very simple questions. Okay, if you're going, I'm telling you about the questions if you're going for tourism purpose only. Okay, if you are a businessman or if you have any other purposes, you might be asked other set of questions. But if you travel as a tourist, you might be asked like why do you want to go. You can say tourism or vacationing or holidays. You will be asked about when you will be returning, so you can tell them the date, show them the ticket as well, because they might want to see that. You might be, I was asked where do I work and when I would be returning. So these two questions were asked. Simple, it was just 2 minutes formality, I guess, and that was it. In Sri Lanka, then you have another set of immigration. You might be asked why do you want to come to Sri Lanka, if you have any relatives or if you're visiting any friends, or if you will be asked when are you planning to go back to India, if you are planning to go from Sri Lanka to someplace else, or what places do you wish to visit in Sri Lanka. Depends upon immigration officer to immigration officer and your luck as well. For me, I was not asked a single thing. I gave my visa and my passport, she stamped it, and I was good to go. In India, I was asked 2 questions, but in Sri Lanka, I was not asked anything. So it depends from person to person, from immigration officer to immigration officer. But don't worry, if everything is correct, there won't be. It's just basically just want to get to know that you just want to ensure that you're not planning to stay behind and you're not into any illegal activities. Just that. So present yourself well, and that's about it. Don't raise any suspicions. That is the main thing. Alright. So after you clear the immigration, you will be going through the arrivals from arena. In the arrivals arena, there are two things that you can do. One is the currency exchange. Now, many people might say that do not exchange your currency at the airports. They rip you off. Trust me, at least at Sri Lanka airport, sorry, at Colombo airport, I did not find any rip off. Okay, so when I landed, the rate was around 300. I mean, from USD to LKR, the rate was around 306 rupees. Okay, on Google. Now, the banks in the money exchangers in Colombo city, I was checking a few places. They were giving around 298 point something, 298.7 or something like that. Okay, so 298.7 something like that. And at Colombo airport, I got it for 298 rupees, and there were no commissions or no hidden charges, no taxes, anything. So everything included, the price was 298 rupees per dollar. So I think that was a good deal. So definitely they did not rip me off. So I converted my USD to Sri Lankan currency at the airport itself. Trust me, you can go for it. There are at least 5-6 money exchanges, and all of them are giving the same 298 rate. So it's not like you have to go from one counter to another counter to search for one. All the banks are same. You can just go to anyone which has less queue. And it wasn't just me. I was seeing almost everybody from my flight was getting the currency exchanged from one of these counters only. After you go through the currency exchange, just before the exit, you will find the SIM cards. Okay, now there was SLT exchange, there was Dialog. For Dialog, there were two counters. There was one for SLT exchange and one for Airtel. Now I checked the different rates of each provider. SLT exchange did not look good enough for me. All their plans had a daily limit of around 1 GB per day or something like that. Airtel and Dialog had unlimited data. And before coming to Sri Lanka, I checked with a few locals over here. They suggested to go for the Dialog SIM card. The connectivity is really good. So I went for Dialog SIM card. Every SIM card has a validity of 1 month, 30 days actually. And this one gave me 30 GB of data, and this does not have any cap. So you can, if you want, you can use all 30 GB in one single day. It doesn't have any cap or something like that. For 30 GB, it took me 1800 rupees, including taxes and everything. And the representative at the stall, he helped me install, set up the SIM card and set up all the data processes and everything. It was super smooth. Took me around 2 or 3 minutes for the SIM card to actually get activated, which is very fast, to be honest. And yeah, and with this you also get 250 rupees worth of local talk time, and it charges 3 cents per second. Okay, so 100 cents make 1 rupee, and you get 250 rupees. So you have a good amount, you get a good amount of talk time as well with this. That this 250 rupees is included in this 1800 rupees that you're paying for 30 GB internet and 250 rupees worth of talk time. And it gets charged per second basis. It charges you around 1 or 2 rupees per SMS, I guess, and 3 paise per second for local calls. Okay. Now I did not make use of any local calls or SMS till now, but internet is pretty fast. Okay, and I was also going from the airport to Colombo via the highway, and it was a deserted highway, to be honest. But over there also I was getting good internet connection. So yeah, you can definitely go for Dialog. I would definitely recommend that, and so did the islanders over here recommend me Dialog as well. So yeah. And once you get the SIM card, it's pretty simple. You can either book an Uber, or you can, there will be some guides as well. So they won't be charging you too much more than what Uber is showing. Okay, for me, Uber was showing 5,800. Okay, when I landed, and the guy I met one person, he asked for 6,000 rupees. So I didn't think of bargaining. Firstly, I was very exhausted. Secondly, I can't bargain. But I think that was a good deal. Okay, because for Uber pickup point, I have no clue where the Uber pickup point was. So if I took the pain of finding it, maybe I could have saved 200 rupees. But that's all right. They quoted a fair price, I believe. So you can either book via Uber if you know where the Uber pickup point is, or you can directly ask the locals and they can arrange a cab for you. So that's about it. So basically, just to recap, you have to book the air tickets first, then the hotel bookings, then the visa, because sorry, the ETA, which is basically the visa. In ETA, you are required to enter your return flight details and your hotel bookings and everything. That is why before getting the ETA, you have to book the hotel and the airfare, hotel, ETA. Then you can board the flight. After landing, you can exchange the money, because all the SIM card agencies, they accept Lankan rupee only. Okay, so you have to get Lankan rupees first, and then you can book the SIM card, and then you can proceed to Colombo. So that was all about it from the day zero of this Sri Lanka trip. These are all the things that you need to make sure that you have before you come to Sri Lanka and just after you land. Do stay tuned in this video series, because I will be sharing all the details from my trip for the next 4-5 days that I'm over here. Until then, enjoy, relax, and have a nice day.